Multiplying two fractions together, not a big deal. But when we're looking at mixed numbers, it becomes just one tiny bit more tricky. Once we realize the trick, it's not a problem. Let's take a look at some examples and see that multiplying mixed numbers, not a big deal. So let's start off by just taking a fraction multiplied by a mixed number. So here's a quarter, and I'm multiplying it by 1 1/3. Now, how are we going to multiply this? Well, actually, I want to remind you exactly what 1 1/3 means. So I want to actually look at this close up and personal. So let's take a real close, hard look at this. 1 1/3. Now, what does that mean? What that means, if you enlarge it to show detail, is actually this. It's technically 1 plus 1/3. In fact, when you read it that way, right? We say 1 and 1/3. And remember that the word and usually implies addition. So we have 1 1/3. So if you want to do this multiplication with this, we have to remember the rules of the orders of operation. And that tells us that we have to do the multiplication first. So this whole thing really is one piece, and we have to multiply. So what needs to be done? I've got to turn this into one piece, one number. How do we do that? Well, we talked about how to create an improper fraction from this. The little secret is to take the 1, multiply it by the denominator, and then take that answer and add the numerator and write that all over the denominator. So in this case, you can look at it and see 1 times 3 is 3. You add 1, you get 4. This is 4/3. And if you think about it, 1 1/3 is actually the same thing as 4/3. Once you make the conversion into an improper fraction, we're home free. We know what to do. So let's try it together. So first we do the little conversion. No multiplication yet. I'm just converting it to an improper fraction. So 1 times 3 is 3, plus 1 is 4 over the denominator 3. Now I can do the multiplication, which remember is just multiply tops, multiply bottoms. But before you multiply, can you simplify? Heck yes. I have a common factor of 4 on the top and the bottom, so this is equivalent to just the 1 over the 3. The answer is 1/3. Cool beans. Let's try the one. Here I have 1 1/7, and I'm multiplying it by 3/4. What do? Well, the first step is to change the mixed number into an improper fraction and then use the method we know for multiplying fractions. So what do I convert this to? Well, I just look at this and I see it's going to be 8/7, but let me show you how I did that. 7 times 1 is 7, plus that 1 is 8. So I have 8/7 multiplied by 3/4. The rule is 8 times 3, 7 times 4. Can I simplify? Yeah, because that 8 is actually 4 times 2. But don't forget to write the 3. That's just the 8, the 3, and 7 times 4. And look, check it out. There's a common factor on the numerator and the denominator, so that's equivalent to what we get if we just left those out. And that's 6/7. And that's the answer. So this equals 6/7. Not a problem. This is great. Let's try one last one just for fun. 3/5 times 2 2/3. Again, this is a mixed number, so the first step in this multiplication question is to first convert this to an improper fraction. So here we go. What do? I take 2 times 3, that's 6, and then I add this 2, that's 8. So I have 8 over that common same denominator, 3. Now what? Well, now I multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators, and look how lucky we are. This is our lucky day. We, again, see a common factor of 3 in the numerator and denominator, so this is equivalent to just 8/5. 8/5 is a perfectly fine answer. Great. If they asked us to write that as a mixed number, because notice it's actually an improper fraction, the numerator is actually greater than the denominator. So if we did a little long division, what we'd see here is that this is 1 3/5. So if we convert that to a a mixed number, we'd see 1 3/5. If we left it as an improper fraction, we'd see 8/5. Both are perfectly fine answers. It just depends upon what the person who's posing the question, what form they want us to phrase the answer. No big deal. Either one's correct. They're both the same number. And the secret is, when we're multiplying a fraction and a mixed number, take that mixed number, transform it into a fraction, and you're on your way.